Hello YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have my 5 best aquarium filtration tips for you. I hope you find them useful. If you like the content of this channel, don't forget to hit that bell and also comment below. Let me know what you think about these tips. I'm going to go through all 5 of them. Let's go ahead and get going. Well, my first tip is to put filtration on your tank that is rated at 2, 3, 4 times the actual suggested use. And I'll tell you why that is. Very often these filters, when they're sold to the public, the ratings that you see on the boxes, and there are some exceptions. I believe Fluval might be giving you a true rating as how it would perform with media in it, but most filters give you a rating that is without any media inside the filters. Just what's the pumping power of the motor or the pump that comes with that filter. So my advice, get one that's 2 to 3 times the rating of the aquarium that you have, and that'll also no doubt give you room for more media, okay, more sponges, more biomedia, and it'll also move with you when you upgrade, because at some point you probably are going to upgrade and go to a larger tank, and it'll be good to be able to take that same filter and just move it over and know that it's not going to be underrated for the tank that you're putting it on. Tip number 2 is to have multiple units. In my aquariums, all except for one, I have multiple units, multiple filtration units. That doesn't mean you have to have the same kind of unit. You could have a canister, a hang-on back, maybe a sump with a canister like I have here in the tank behind me. Okay, so why is that? This is because that way I can alternate the servicing of filters. So one filter continues to run while I'm servicing the other one. This reduces the chance of actually shocking the system by disrupting, let's say, too much beneficial bacteria, too quickly, or having the tank go for any period of time without any filtration running. So I'll pull off a hang-on back, or I'll service the sump on the tank behind me while the Sun 704B is still running and circulating water. So there's always circulation going on. And also, in the event that one of the units crashes on you, and that happens, a unit develops a leak, starts to rattle, starts to make noise, something happens and you need to go get a part, you need to fix something, you're okay, because the other unit, and remember what I said with the first point, gets something that is over capacity, that can handle, that's rated for more than what your tank is. If you've done that and you have 2 or more units on your tank, that one running unit can handle your tank while you're getting the other one serviced or repaired or replaced. Okay, so that's tip number 2, multiple filtration, backup, and redundancy. One other advantage to multiple filters on the same tank, one other advantage is that you get more water movement, more water flow. From the different outputs from the different filters, you're going to get water moving in different directions. I think that's a good thing. One, it helps to even out the temperature of your tank, and also even out the oxygen levels in your tank, throughout the tank. And it also helps to kick up detritus, so that detritus then moves towards the intakes of your filters. That results in a cleaner tank. So that's just another bonus of having multiple filters on the tank that are actually breaking up the surface, creating more oxygen, more water movement. All that is a good thing. That actually leads me to point number 3, which will position those outputs so that they're creating water flow that breaks up the surface and creates oxygen. And it's also creating a flow within the tank that is moving the waste towards the intakes. In the case of this tank behind me, we have 6 feet of tank, and we have all my intakes are on that side. I have the overflow box, which has cutouts at the top, so water's flowing in that way. And I have behind it, and I'm not sure if you can even see that, but the intake of the 704B canister filter that's down here in this compartment. So what I have then is I have the output of the pump. I have a real pump underneath here. It's pumping water up here at 1900 gallons an hour. That's the rating. It's pushing water this way, and you also have down here a high door, very powerful, over 2,000 gallons per hour high door power head. All of that is moving water this way so that it goes into the cutouts and into the intake of the 704B. So a smart placement outputs. Now, that leads me to point number 4, which is a smart placement of your intakes. Now, certainly with a sump, you can't do anything about the placement of the intakes. It is where it is, unless you're going to do anything about that. Now, with other filters, like the 704B, like your Fluval, things of this nature, I suggest that you have the intakes as low in the tank as you can. Now, keep in mind, keep them a little higher if you have sand, because sand can get kicked up and sucked into the intakes. All right, that's going to be a little bit less likely if you have pre-filters, like I have, some sponges over the intake. That can help safeguard against that a little bit. You're still going to get, if your sand is very fine, you might still get some in there. But if you have a sand substrate, don't be right up against the bottom. You shouldn't be right up against the bottom anyway, but don't be too low. However, keep your intakes in the bottom third of your tank. The reason I say that is that oxygen. So the water down here has less oxygen. So if you can pull the water from low in your tank, if you can pull that water, run it through the filtration, then dump it back where it'll re-oxygenate the water, you're going to be in really good shape. Okay. Tip number 5, set up the media so that your biomedia is getting as clean a water as possible. Now, why is this? This is, you would think, well, wait a minute, don't you want the water going over the bio to be rich in detritus, but because that's what's going to feed the, hey, believe me, there's plenty of waste in that water. No matter how you cut it, there's lots of them. Remember, it's ammonia and nitrite that's primarily feeding this beneficial bacteria, and those are things that you really can't even see. So don't even worry about that. Just catch the big pieces before it gets into the biomedia. Otherwise, you're going to clog up that biomedia pretty badly or pretty quickly. Okay, so what does that do? By being able to provide clean water running over the beneficial bacteria, you're going to be able to go for longer periods of time between when you have to pull that biomedia out and dunk it in tank water so you can kind of clean it off a bit. Okay, here's your bonus tip, tip number 6. I usually throw in a bonus tip for you, and that one is this: from time to time, service the impellers in your filters, whether that's a hang-on back, a canister, or the pump that you're using to move the water back to the tank in your sump. Pull apart the impeller and clean it all up, okay? And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, there are plenty of videos on YouTube that can show you how to tear it apart. For example, a Fluval can seem a little bit complicated to open up that motor and pull that big impeller out of there, you know, but it's not really that hard. It's pretty simple. Once you've done it, it's a snap. So clean the impellers, because, and this is based on some research I saw, you know, the saltwater reefing community, they're very big on water movement, things of this nature. Power heads, things of this nature, impeller, things that involve impellers and water movement, they have a sharp drop off in how much water they're moving per gallon after a very short period of time. And that's mostly because of the moam and the stuff that builds up on it. It just sort of slows it down a bit. So if you want to maximize the performance of your filters, maybe every other servicing, or maybe every third, however, whatever schedule works for you, pull out those impellers, give them a good scrub down so they're like new, put them back together, and if you're so inclined, run a pipe cleaner through the hoses and get those hoses nice and cleaned up. I did a video on that, you know, hose cleaning day video, and I'll post a link, you know, somewhere up here, and you can see that video as well. So those are my five tips on getting the best out of your filters. My 5 best aquarium filtration tips, along with a 6th tip, a bonus tip, and there you have it. If you have some tips, share them with the community. We love to read them. Put them below. Again, the Convo Gang, they get into discussions with each other. I love reading about it. Join me on Saturday for the live stream, Cichlids and Coffee. Great people discussing topics on fish, and we get into some live back and forth on the comments. It's very good. I really enjoy it. And certainly follow on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. And come over to the Facebook group, ben.o.cichlid, if you'd like to join a group that is helpful And cichlids in the name, but everyone is welcome. All fish keepers at all levels, beginner, expert, doesn't matter. We welcome you and we will help you out. Okay, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are appreciated. And stay safe. Bye-bye.